Well, greetings everyone. My name is Justin Navarro.
And my name is Jackson Robert Netlingham.
And we are the co-founders of NetNav Productions. We are two college-bound filmmakers who've been making films and short skits off and on for over the past 7 years. We've been working on this project that's been about 7 years in the making, and so we're excited to advertise and tell you about it, but most importantly, we are here to tell our story.
In order to understand the whole picture, the full picture of the story, we need to go back to the very beginning.
So, our initial partnership began at a place called Katy Visual Performing Arts Center, also known as Cavepack.
When I first joined Cavepack, I was a young boy, about 9 or 10 years old, and then I was very timid. I mean, I hardly had any acting skills whatsoever, but my mother insisted that it would be good for my education, good for reaching out to others. So I began to partake in it, and that's where I met Justin. And then after that, it led to several more plays where we contributed with one another. And we even joined an acting class where I played as Charlie Brown, and he played as not Tom Sawyer. Oh, Huckleberry Finn.
Yes, yeah, that was very funny. We used a big monologue discussion, if I recall. We each had to come up with our own monologues, and some of them were pretty funny. And then one of the things we had to do in that acting class is we had to sing the director said, okay, why don't you all sing a song? Just any song come into your head. I think, song? I don't know any songs off the top of my head, so what did we decide to sing?
I'm honestly not certain, certain. I forgot.
It was VeggieTales.
Oh, seriously?
Remember we sung VeggieTales.
Oh, seriously? We did that?
We sung VeggieTales. I was cringing the entire time, but it was fun.
I was probably just desperate to try and sing the lyrics. I mean, that cartoon was practically my childhood.
Same here. So the final play that we ever performed at Cavepack was called Sherlock Holmes and the Baker Street Irregulars. He played Sherlock and I played Moriarty.
I was also Watson.
And Watson.
You were also Wiggins, who was the mastermind behind the entire thing.
Yes, I tell you, it was so much fun. And then Cavepack for me really was a home away from home. It was a coalition, a group of Christian homeschooled students that truly was a family, and it was amazing. We met so many friends there, and it was truly a blessed organization. So as we were doing these plays, around the year 2014, I purchased this gangster costume from Party City. And I loved it so much because it just fit the style. I like 1950s style outfits and clothing, and so I started running around the house recording myself having these crazy adventures. The protagonist at the time, as far as we developed the story, was this crazy gangster vigilante who sought to better the world through his experiments and adventures. However, in these adventures, something would always go wrong. There'd be an explosion in his lab, or some enemy would come in and try to disturb what he was trying to do. So he dealt with all these crazy adventures and disasters and all these epic failures that would happen inside his laboratory.
And today, we have a voice problem. Help!
I'm an assassin and spy. What are you? I'm an army man. What are you? I already told you. Oh, sorry.
My involvement in the story began when, during our skits, I created a polar opposite antagonist, a rival gangster in sorts.
Oh, hey, gang. Why are you here?
Obsessed with being a better inventor, he sought to ruin Jonathan's projects and eliminate his character. Inspired by Justin's skits, I started creating my own series of skits called Agency. This told the antagonist's side of the story and the challenges he faced from the rival crime lords.
Ryan, you're back! This is the man who killed your brother. I didn't promise I would betray you.
And the more skits I made, the more our story began to develop, and the more we began to grow in our friendship and our working relationship.
Yeah, the antagonist, as I said, he was the polar opposite of Jonathan in so many ways. What was the record that we actually had for how many times our antagonist tried to kill my character?
I randomly thought of this number, but it was, he betrayed him 153 times, and that's not even including the amount of times he tried to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, it was completely ridiculous. We did so many skits. Some of them have been lost to time. Some of them were still preserved. Many as which you're seeing on the screen.
The person? Your apprentice?
No, I turned him into a cat.
People in Houston. Let's see if you can stop them. I doubt you can. Bruh.
Around the time Hurricane Harvey hit, the theater company that we were a part of flooded out, and they were forced to relocate. And unfortunately, they relocated further out than we could travel. So that left us and our skits. And so around the time that Cavepack was relocated, we took a filmmaking course on a website called Tomorrow's Filmmakers. Tomorrow's Filmmakers is a self-paced online course dedicated to the entire process of filmmaking. It is an intensive, comprehensive course encompassing everything from the foundational principles of filmmaking, camera types, and concluding with advanced editing and how to start your own photography and videography business.
Well, as a Christian organization that was rooted in faith, Tomorrow's Filmmakers not only helped us to grow in our skills as filmmakers and creative storytellers, but it also helped us grow in our faith as a whole and ultimately our friendship and our working relationship as we continue to develop our skits.
Tomorrow's Filmmakers inspired us to take initiative and create many fun stories and short films like the ones you see here. We're not particularly sponsored by them, but we support them strongly. So in the description below, I'm going to leave an affiliate link for any of those of you who, like us, want to make films, or those who are inspired to create something. Trust me, it will be a purchase you won't regret. So after taking the course, or most of the course, Jackson and I decided to put these new learned skills to the test. So we ultimately decided that we would take our characters that we had created from our skits, and we would compose our very first movie. So in 2017, we created our first short film. We reinvented some of our characters and designed a tentative backstory. This wasn't the full-fledged backstory of our characters because some of this backstory was based off of some films and movies that we had watched. I mean, we were still starting out.
Who are you and what do you want?
And I've called you here because we have a similar enemy.
But we had a lot of fun creating them.
Well, when Justin began to elaborate on his own characters, I decided to do a completely different thing and design my own skits.
Gang, You people brought me here. You.
Mike? I created a fictional island that was originally designed to be a perfect utopia.
What are you doing here?
The utopia failed when it became overrun by corrupt politicians and crime lords. And the inhabitants of the island were cut off from the outside world, leaving a crazy scientist pulling the strings of the entire ghost town. I showed these ideas to Justin, and we started going from there.
He shouldn't be alerting any people anytime soon.
Our films continue to grow and evolve over the next 3 years, and I, for one, was really excited to include his new characters and these new places that he created into our story. Jackson directed 2 short films on his own during 2018 and early 2019. Meanwhile, while he was doing that, I was preparing for our final short film, which hopefully I was going to bring to life through late 2019 and early 2020. The last short film we planned was aptly titled The Final Chapter. I spent 2 years planning and writing and praying for the cooperation I would need for this film to succeed. However, around this time, several of the people that had helped us create some of these short films began to grow disinterested with the project, which is understandable. We've been doing this for about 3 years now. And sadly, they became disheartened with the picture, and for the sake of our own time and money, we decided at that time it'd probably be a good idea to shelve the project. Which, yeah, it was a little sad because we were left with a script and a story that we couldn't really tell. However, we here at NetNav Productions, we embrace failure.
As we began discussing ideas, we decided to tell a whole novel. Like one of our inspirations, we were inspired by many children's books in order to do so. So we felt like the best thing to do was to tell a story that not only reflected the many ideas and skits that we had created over the years, but also something that's recognized the faith that had been growing in our lives, ultimately reflected the faith that had been growing in our lives, and how we could reflect our experiences in a sort of symbolic form of way to the young kids.
True. Additionally, our original idea was to tell the full story of our characters, the protagonist, antagonist, all of it, into one big giant novel. But we ran into some problems with that. We couldn't fit all of our story into this one novel. We struggled with coming up with a prologue and a sort of closing argument that would tie in all these forced characters that we had to create. And so we felt that, okay, it wasn't going to work. It was too rushed, and we couldn't come up with a perfect story. After much discussion, we concluded that the best course of action was to do a complete overhaul of our entire project. From 2020 to 2022, we re-envisioned the plot, backstories, and rewrote several of the characters. Furthermore, instead of telling one long story, we would break apart the story into a 5-part novel series. So when we were discussing the ideas for how we were going to reorganize our characters, we did a lot through Zoom meetings. Now, most of you probably know what Zoom is, but for those of you who don't, Zoom is an online communications platform that allows you to communicate via audio and video in a virtual meeting-style conversation. Furthermore, Zoom offers many various add-ons and applications for improving collaboration between projects, offering such features as screen sharing, spreadsheets, animation boards, and so much more. Therefore, we set out to create a mystery adventure book with Jackson co-writing along with me and also doing the illustrations.
It's going to be a bumpy ride, but ultimately, I cannot wait to begin to continue drawing. I mean, it's such an amazing process getting to actually draw and write the stories, contribute to the story, share my ideas. The key is finding the balance between our two ideas, but once we can do that, we can tell a story that's worth sharing with the entire audience, that can hopefully inspire the future of filmmakers and creative storytellers.
Absolutely. So we here at NetNav Productions would like to also alert you that as things get closer to publishing and we have enough money to initiate the publishing, then we were going to release our book trailer. We've already filmed it, it's ready, but we're just waiting because we don't want to make this all drag out and then it's nothing's happening. So we're going to wait till publishing gets initiated, and we will be dropping our first book trailer shortly, hopefully. So thank you again. Thank you so much for taking this time to watch this video and listen to us talk about our story. Again, links to some of these companies we mentioned are in the descriptions below. Please feel free to check them out. They have been a tremendous help to us, and we fully believe they'll be a tremendous help to you in your creative endeavors. So until then, we here at NetNav Productions wish you a good day. We hope you will subscribe and keep an eye out for some fun short films that hopefully will be coming down the road. And until the book trailer drops, stay tuned.
Have a good day to you, fellow adventurers.
And a happy new year. Okay, there we go.